All right, so we're going to start 10.4. So 10.4 is with special products. So we've been talking about, we started with pulling out a monomial factor, and then we were foiling stuff, and yesterday we were finding binomial factors. So this time we're going to be dealing with a couple, just two different special scenarios. So the first one is the square of a binomial. So if we had something like a plus b in parentheses and then a plus b, that would be the same thing as a plus b squared. So another way that you might see that is like if we had 3x plus 5 in parentheses and then another 3x plus 5. So essentially what happens here, if these are plus, that would give us a plus b squared. So then if we came up with that trinomial like we were doing yesterday, we would take the first term squared, so we'd get a squared. Then we're going to take the two terms, multiply them together, times 2, so 2ab. And then the third term is going to be the b squared. And we're going to do a couple of examples with these so you can kind of see what it looks like with numbers. Okay? The other way that this could look is with the minus signs. So if it was a minus b, we'd have a minus b squared. So then you're still going to have your a squared as the first term for your trinomial. But the middle term is now going to be minus 2ab. And then the third term is still going to be the b squared. And it's still plus. And we kind of talked about this a little bit in the last section when we had a negative times a negative giving us a positive when we were finding those factors.
Yes.
Okay, so the first example I have for us is one with a plus. So if we look at this example and we look up here at what's going to happen, the first term is going to be squared. So we would end up with x squared. What am I going to do to get my second term? What do we do up here?
Energy times 12 by 12 squared.
So it's going to be plus 2 times whatever this product is, which is 12x. And we're going to simplify this. And then my third term is just going to be this 12 squared.
Did you choose 12 because, did you choose 2 because that's how many terms there are?
So up here it's telling us it's times 2, because if you remember when we were foiling, we would take the outer times outer, the inner times inner. So that's where the 2's coming from, because you have to do the outside and the inside.
It will always be 2?
It's always going to be 2. 2 times whatever the product of the two terms are. Okay, so then we're just going to kind of simplify this. So it's going to end up being x squared plus, I can take my 2 times the 12, which would give me what?
24x.
2 times the 12.
2 times 12. 24.
24. So that's 24x plus, we're going to square the 12. What's 12 squared?
144.
144. So then that's my trinomial. Okay. So same idea. We're going to do one with a subtraction sign though this time. Okay, so we're going to be looking at this second one. So you still have the first term squared. So we're going to take the 5xy squared. And then we're going to do minus this time. So minus 2 times the AB, which would be what in this case?
3. Or
Because we have to multiply these two together.
will it
3
be
times 5
negative
would
3?
be, say it again.
Negative 15.
So it's going to be 15xy. And then the last term is going to be plus. And that's going to be our b squared. Which would be what?
Oh no.
What's the b?
3.
Okay, and we're going to square it. Okay. So now we're going to simplify. What's 5 times 5?
25.
So this becomes 25 x squared y squared minus 2 times the 15 gives us
30.
good. And then that's still got an xy. And then 3 squared would be
9.
and there you go.
All right.
Okay, so like I said, so that's if both of the binomials are the same, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're the same with the exception of the symbol. So the next one that we're going to do is the product of the sum and difference of two terms. So this one, like we have a plus b, and then the second binomial is a minus b. So then that would give us a squared minus b squared. So you'll notice that the middle term has dropped out. Because if you think about it, if I did the outsides, it would be a negative AB. If I did the insides, it would be a positive AB. So those cancel each other out. So that's why there's no middle term for these. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at a couple of examples here I have. So I have an x plus 3 and an x minus 3. So then what would my first term be when I multiply these?
X squared.
X squared, good. Minus, what would my second term be?
3 squared.
Which is?
9.
Good. Okay, let's try the next one. Now this time I have some numbers in front of our first variable. So we've got a 4y plus 7 and a 4y minus 7. So now what would my first term be?
4y squared.
Okay. Minus, what's my second term?
7 squared.
And you'll notice each time it's always minus. So like up here we had a squared minus b squared. It's always subtracting between those two terms. Okay, because you have a positive times a negative. All right, so 4y squared, what would we end up getting when we simplify that? What's 4 times 4?
16. Yeah, 16.
So it's 16, and then the y is squared minus, what's 7 squared?
49.
And that's all you have for that one. Okay, last one. Now we have variables in both of the terms. And we also have coefficients on both of the terms. So what would my first term be? So I've got a 3x minus 8y and a 3x plus 8y.
It'll be 3x squared.
Okay. Minus, what's my second term?
8y squared.
Good. Okay, so then from here, we're going to simplify. What's 3 squared?
9.
So we get 9x squared minus, what's 8 squared?
64. I got 64.
Okay, so 64y squared. And that's it. Does that kind of make sense? So you can always use the foiling. It's just that these are some special situations that we have some rules that work for them and kind of make it a little easier to be able to find the binomials and trinomials, the products.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can always use foiling. It will still come out with the exact same answer. So I did not write out all of the practice problems yet. Your practice problems for this one are page 338. And it's going to be 1 through 39, every other odd. So I have that your last one's actually going to be number 37.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and stop recording so that we can grade some of the ones that you already have done.